Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Ki Hawaii, ki roa, ki Hawaii, ki pāma mau e. ki tēnei rā te reo rāhiri o te here nā waka kia koutou e. Nau mai, haere mai, whakatau mai rā.
Ki raro. Ria.
Graduates, please remain standing. E nā iho iho o nā manga whakahi. Nā mātā waka o nā tōpito katoa o te ao. Toia mai o koutu waka kia whakanui e nā ākonga. Ka whakawhiawhia kia rātou tohu e tēnei rā. No mai ki te harenga waka. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Thank you to our trumpeters, Nina Noble, Clark Spence and Isabella Thomas, with Ben Kennedy on the organ, for their performance of Processional Fanfare by Douglas Lilburn. We're now going to sing the National Anthem. The words appear on page 84 of your program and on the screen. The singing will be led by Samuel McKeever, who is graduating at this ceremony with a Bachelor of Music from the New Zealand School of Music, Te Koki. Ben Kennedy, who is completing a Bachelor of Music at the New Zealand School of Music, will provide the accompaniment. Will the rest of the audience please stand and welcome Samuel and Ben. Please be seated. Good afternoon and welcome to this graduation ceremony For the Wellington Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Te Wāhanga Aranui. I'm Professor Wendy Lana, and as the Provost of the University, I'm delighted that you could join us this afternoon to celebrate the achievements of your whānau, family member, friend or colleague. As well as being proud spectators, you are also formal witnesses to these official proceedings. I'd now like to introduce you to the Chancellor of Te Haringawaka Victoria University of Wellington. This is a role that dates back to the Middle Ages, when the first universities were established. The Chancellor is the Chair of the University Council, which is the governing body responsible for setting the university's strategic direction. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Chancellor, Neil Pavia-Smith.
E ngā mana, e ngā reo, e ngā iwi. Ngā mata waka o te motu. Koutou, ngā ākonga ka whakanuia e tēnei rā. Nau mai, haere mai. Piki mai ke tēnei hui whakapumo. Toia mai o koutou waka ki te heranga waka. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Talofa lava, whakalofa lahi atu. Kia orana, malo alalei. Taloha ni sabula, ni hao, huan ying, and as it is the afternoon, good afternoon, and my warmest greetings to you all on this special day of celebration. I'm so pleased to be here to share it with you, our students, and your friends and families, and of course our staff. I'd like to especially welcome the Prime Minister of the Cook Islands, the Honourable Mark Brown and his family who are here. Kia orana. This is a special celebration that's made somewhat poignant by the fact that we are in one of the few places in the world where we can join together en masse. Graduation ceremonies recognise the formal conferment of degrees, diplomas and certificates, as well as enabling us all to celebrate the achievements of our graduates. So thank you for being part of this graduation ceremony. Everyone's looking fabulous. I think the shoe retailers and the hairstylists and florists are doing a roaring trade in Wellington. It's wonderful to see you all enjoying this important day. Greetings also to those of you who are celebrating with us today overseas. Our celebration in Wellington has brought the city alive with the vibrant colour and sounds of thousands of students, graduates, parading through the streets on this fairly characteristically calm and pleasant Wellington day. Thank you for joining us through our live stream. It is an honour and a privilege to be Chancellor of Te Haringawaka Victoria University of Wellington and to preside over graduation ceremonies, which are memorable and colourful events. These are always one of the highlights of the year for the university community. And we have a lot to celebrate, given all that you have experienced in recent times. Your studies over this past year were significantly disrupted by COVID-19, interrupting courses, changing the way you had to study and conduct your research, and adding to the stress and uncertainties you normally experience as you seek to finish your studies. I acknowledge all of you for your perseverance and patience as you and our staff and the university had to rapidly change the way we operated. Now, while we are fortunate to be here in New Zealand, I want to recognise the impact the global pandemic has had, in particular on those who have family and friends overseas, and also those who have lost loved ones. I invite you all to join me in taking a quiet moment to remember and acknowledge everyone who cannot be here today, for whatever reason, to witness their loved ones graduating. Thank you. Today, you take another step to join our university's proud history and create some of your own. The university was founded in 1897 with the first year of teaching commencing with 115 students in temporary accommodation, while the city made up its mind where the permanent campus should be. Today, the university has more than 22,000 students from over 100 countries. Yet, you share much in common with those first students of this university. And then, as now, the university held a central role in the intellectual, civic and social life of our capital city. Our students enrich the culture and vibrancy of Wellington, making it a better and livelier place for all of us. From the Kelburn campus, our campus in Papatea and Te Aro, and not to mention, of course, where you'll all be celebrating tonight, the faculty of Courtney Place. The university is truly cosmopolitan in composition and approach, and is globally connected through both our students and our research. We are also proud to be the university with the first marae on any university campus, a marae that stands at our heart. The name of our marae, Te Hiringa Waka, is also now the Maori name of the university. It means, literally, the gathering of canoes. The marae and wider university are places where everyone, no matter where they come from, can hitch their canoe and belong, before setting off into the world, still connected to and supported by the university. Today we celebrate you, our graduates. We recognise your hard work and passion and commitment. We acknowledge the challenges you have overcome with tenacity and endurance. You have experienced challenges but worked out how to succeed and get through. And no, I'm not talking about trying to walk up the terrace in a strong southerly or a northerly. Graduation is a time for you to reflect on what you've gained from your studies. Completing your qualification is a great personal accomplishment, but I'm sure you will acknowledge the personal growth you've experienced in your time here. So as you leave to start the next stage of your journey, you're not only well equipped with knowledge, but also the personal skills necessary to make a valuable contribution to your chosen field and society. Every one of you has contributed to building our knowledge and understanding of the world around us. And every one of you has the opportunity now to contribute that learning to creating a better future for us all. This time of COVID has taught us some interesting lessons. It's reminded us of the power of science and research, and the power of truth, and the power of community. Every element that has contributed to our success, from hand hygiene to collaboration on vaccine development to communications and psychology, have benefited from the pursuit of knowledge. We're a diverse community, and that diversity is our strength. It provides a breadth of knowledge and perspective that can make our understanding of opportunities and challenges so much more robust. By bringing our knowledge together, we amplify our ability to succeed. Nā tō roro, nā taku roro ka ora ai te iwi. With your food basket and my food basket, the people will thrive. That diversity includes those here who were the first to graduate in their family, and those who came to us straight from school, or those who never had the opportunity to study when they were younger, and of course those who travelled afar to Wellington from their home countries to study. You now emerge as proud alumni of Victoria University of Wellington, and you all have a special contribution to make, especially to share your experiences and learning with those around you, young and old. Encourage and support people to break through any barriers they have to learning. Share the joy of knowledge wherever you go, and let them know that here at your university, the door is always open to you and your family and friends. And joining that family of alumni, you now join a global community of inspiring people succeeding in all walks of life, from those supporting our communities quietly behind the scenes, through to world-leading researchers, governors-general and prime ministers, to Nobel laureates, and even an astronaut. Now, you are graduating today from an outstanding university. We have first-rate academics producing world-leading research. Of all the universities in New Zealand, we are ranked #1 for the intensity of high-quality research. Now that means we have the highest proportion of academics conducting high-quality research of all the universities in the country. And we are the only university to twice come out on top for this main measure of research excellence. In the past year, our academic staff had their best year ever for grants from the government's Marsden Fund for Blue Skies Research, including ambitious and transformative research on some of the biggest issues of our time. And we're collaborating with prestigious institutions from around the world, such as Harvard University, the University of Cambridge, and Australian National University. Our researchers have played a crucial role in a huge range of research, including into COVID-19 vaccines, empowering rural communities to reduce the barriers to cervical cancer screening, melting ice sheets and environmentally transport. And just recently, our Dr. Cornwall won the Prime Minister's MacDiarmid Emerging Scientist Prize for his research on the impacts of ocean acidification on marine organisms. In terms of global university rankings, you're graduating from a university ranked in the top 2% of over 18,000 universities worldwide, and now ranked in the top 1% globally across 20 subject areas. Now, while it is your experiences at university that you will remember the most clearly, I do want to reiterate the pride you can feel in graduating from a university that really is amongst the best in the world. To our humanities and social sciences graduates, you're part of an outstanding faculty which consistently performs strongly in New Zealand research rankings. Humanities and social sciences subjects ranked in the top 1% worldwide in the recent QS World Rankings, reaffirming this university's top performance in the arts. To all our graduates here, I'd like to note the importance of the skills and knowledge provided through your studies. In a rapidly changing world of disinformation, fake news, and partisanship, society needs more critical thinkers and people asking why more than ever. It was senior Microsoft executives, actually, who recently noted that as computers behave more like humans, it's the social sciences and humanities that will become even more important for critical, philosophical, and ethics-based skills. The humanities and social sciences are crucial to the university's vision of cultivating engaged global citizens with well-developed skills in critical reasoning and communication. Now, while all of that is impressive, I encourage you to reflect on what you've gained from your studies. The university boldly aspires to be a world-leading capital city university and one of the great global civic universities, meaning that our campuses not only live in the world, but seek to better it. Our university engages with different ideas and issues and does not shelter students from them. It's a feature of our students that when you see the need for change, you consider all the issues and potential solutions and confront those problems in all their complexity. So, as you now move on from university, it's you who are the emerging leaders to whom we all turn as we seek to navigate a future that is changing so rapidly from the impact of the pandemic, serious environmental threats, globalisation, new political movements, and major technological shifts. Your education sets you up well to tackle these challenges. Don't be afraid to imagine, match your actions with your dreams, and stay true to your morals and community aspirations. Take what you've gained from this university and use those attributes wisely. Your qualification provides you with a platform to success in life and business, but in my view, it's the interpersonal and communication skills you've acquired and your leadership abilities that will serve you the strongest. There will be great successes and many challenges. But whatever your future, I urge you all to make the most of your life ahead. And through it all, I hope you're able to look back on your time at this university and in Wellington and recognise how it changed you as a person. You may not know where the future will take you, but as you go, know that your university will be there with you. And we hope and expect that as a member of our alumni community, you'll be there for us and the generations of students who now follow you. Before I conclude, I would like to acknowledge all the supporters of our graduates here today, the parents, grandparents, spouses and partners, siblings, children and friends. Your support and patience and guidance is hugely appreciated. Many of you will have been there providing support at a difficult time. Many of you have made significant sacrifices to help your loved one. And I suspect many of you will be simply relieved that this day has finally arrived. Graduates, will you please join me in thanking your families, partners, children and friends who have helped pave the way through to today. Thank you. And I would also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the dedication, contribution and efforts of the university's academic and professional staff. The University Council knows very well how hard you have all had to work over the past year, in particular as you had to adapt very rapidly to teaching disrupted by COVID-19. Thank you for your perseverance and support of our students and to advancing even further our excellent reputation for research. I salute you all for your commitment, and I invite our graduates and all those present to join me in our appreciation. Finally, graduates, stay connected to us. Come back as you need to and keep in touch. You're part of a long, proud history, and we're here to support you as you now contribute to creating the future of the world around us. You've earned this success, so take some time to enjoy it. May you look back on this day and this time with great happiness and pride and a feeling of great fulfilment. Congratulations, good luck. I wish every one of you success, good health and strength in your endeavours as proud alumni of Te Huringa Waka, Victoria University of Wellington. Nō re rā, tēnā koutou, kia ora, kia kaha, tēnā koutou katoa.
The Chancellor will now recognise the graduates as listed in the graduation program. Will all the degree, diploma and certificate graduates please stand up?
Yep, everybody. You've been waiting a long time for this moment. The cameras are ready. I, Neil Pavia-Smith, Chancellor of Te Huringa Waka, Victoria University of Wellington, would like to formally recognise the persons whose names are entered in the presentation of graduates, the degrees, diplomas and certificates there appearing, and confirm they have been admitted to these degrees, diplomas and certificates in this university. Congratulations to you all, and as graduates, you may now put on your trenches.
Graduates, please be seated. We will now move on to honouring the graduates listed in your program. Each graduate will be called to the stage to be congratulated, beginning with the award of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Please refer to page 60 of your program for a summary of each doctoral candidate's work. The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Grant Guilford, will read the summaries. The Chancellor will congratulate these graduates.
Research is the backbone of a university and one of the most significant contributions we can make to society. Doctors of philosophy achieve academically at the highest level. They can be proud that their research has provided answers and insights to some of the major questions and problems that society faces. These scholars have helped us understand the past, the present, and in many cases lit the way towards the future. They have truly displayed the attributes of critical and creative thinking, intellectual autonomy, and independence of thought that we seek in all graduates to ensure that they become active and engaged global citizens. The summaries that you will read in the graduation program and the short citations that I read aloud today are only a very brief overview and cannot hope to do justice to the years of research that have been carried out. They do indicate, however, the depth and breadth of our finest. Would the Doctor of Musical Arts please come forward, Ryan Brake. Ryan Brake's research examines the features of long-form works for the jazz ensemble from a range of different angles, culminating in the composition of his own long-form work for a modern jazz orchestra. Chancellor, I present Ryan Brake to the degree of Doctor of Musical Arts in Composition Music. Would the Doctors of Philosophy please come forward? Claire Bayliss. Claire Bayliss' research examines the potential influence of rape misconceptions on jurors' narratives through both her novel, Dice, and her analysis of real jurors' responses during trials in the Trans-Tasman jury study. Chancellor, I present Claire Bayliss to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Creative Writing. Samuel Crawley. Samuel Crawley's research examines different aspects of public opinion on climate change to better understand the public's role in the slow global political response to climate change. Chancellor, I present Samuel Crawley to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Political Science. Amy Giles Mitson. Amy Giles Mitson's research investigates the use of sustained restorative dialogue to address campus sexual harm and shows how the process has considerable potential in the university setting as part of a wider strategy. Chancellor, I present Amy Giles Mitson to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Linguistics. Dana Guiasola. Dana Guisasola's research analyses three novels by Catalan writer Juan Marcé, proposing a three-stage evolution of a new concept of the Catalan nation, where boundaries between the Catalan and the outside world are blurred. Chancellor, I present Dana Guiasola to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Spanish. Fiona Harkman. Fiona Harkman examines media coverage of gangs in Wanganui and demonstrates that the media played a role creating a moral panic about gangs that contributed to the Wanganui gang insignia ban legislation in 2009. Chancellor, I present Fiona Harkman to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Criminology.
Good start.
Here, on my side too. Here we go.
PhD was easier.
Chi Lu. Chi Lu examines the life and music of Israeli composer Boris Pigovar, researching all his works featuring the viola and producing the documentary film Lacrimosa Dies Illa. Chancellor, I present Chi Lu to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Music. Mira Gopura Pilil Muralid Daharan. Mira Gopura Pilil Muralidharan's research explores the knowledge-making activities of the Dutch East India Company in Malabar to understand the relationships between commerce, colonialism, and natural knowledge in the early modern period. Chancellor, I present Mira Gopura Pilil Muralidharan to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in History. Sarah Ramazan Mahali. Sarah Ramazan Mahali's research examines Andean visual culture as a counter-hegemonic element in the narrative fiction of Peruvian writer Jose Maria Agatas, offering a new appreciation of how Andean identity manifests in his texts. Chancellor, I present Sarah Ramazan Mahala to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Spanish. Zip Tran. Zip Tran's research on the assessment of listening skills examines second language listeners' cognitive processes, provides evidence of factors affecting test performance, and proposes practical recommendations for item design. Chancellor, I present Zip Tran to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Applied Linguistics.
You will notice that our new PhDs have moved to sit with the university staff. This acknowledges their academic achievement and welcomes them to the College of Academics. We're now going to move on to honouring graduates from the Wellington Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Te Wāhanga Aranui. The Chancellor will congratulate the graduates as they process. The Dean of the Faculty, Professor Sarah Leggett, will announce each graduate. The Associate Dean Research, Professor Kevin Dew, will present their certificates.
Chancellor. Will the Masters of Arts please come forward? Bradley Aldridge. Hannah Vina Amante. Tihema Michael Baker. Thomas Benny. Melissa Brown. Greta Casey Solly. Sarah Catherall. Also graduating with a Bachelor of Arts, Oliver Clifton. Christine Christobel. Peter Croft. Matthew Darragh. Christian Dijkstra de Jong. Linda Gibson Martelletti. Elizabeth Hibbs. Joy Holly. Marita Hunt. Catherine Kabala. Arise Katke. Jessica Keane. Jacob McCaffrey. Margot McLean. Also graduating with a Bachelor of Arts, Isabel McNear. Also graduating with a Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Samantha Murphy. Leitumalo Parsons. Benjamin Powdrill. Reinhard Schwaneke. Joan Skinner. Ruby Solomon. Barbara Sumner. Trang Tan. Grace Tong. Chandang Koi. Kotuko Underwood. Thomas Walter. Justine Whitfield. Juliet Wanrow. Will the Masters of Fine Arts Creative Practice please come forward? Soyam Dean. Nhu Nhu Do. Will the Masters of Intercultural Communication and Applied Translation please come forward? Molly Black. Jessica Gillies. Jana Gronert. Jessica Hall. Sophie Marshall. Courtney MacDonald. Catherine Reynolds. Peter Twigg. Will the Masters of International Relations please come forward? Rebecca Edwards. Melanie Padden. Joni Marie Phillip. Also graduating with a Bachelor of Arts, Miranda Rowan. Lydia Veltman. Will the Masters of Migration Studies please come forward? Kate Gear. Also graduating with a Bachelor of Arts, Erin Milliken. Rachel O'Connor. Will the Masters of Museum and Heritage Practice please come forward? Maddie McTavish. Clara Susera Frota. Megan Thompson. Will the Masters of Music please come forward? Also graduating with a Graduate Diploma of Teaching, Primary, David Ledlier. Sirasan Sobanasari. Will the Masters of Philosophy, Politics and Economics please come forward? Christopher Cunningham. Michael Kingston. Sullivan Ponvier. Will the Masters of Political Science please come forward? Also graduating with a Bachelor of Arts, Zara Collinson. Campbell Garrett. Bonnie Hayvice. Will the Masters of Strategic Studies please come forward? Linda Bruce. David de Koning. Reese Evans. Andrew Francis. Andrew Hunt. Kuong Hun. Rebecca Emmanuel. Vaughan Jones. David McEwen. Nama Patel. John Phillips. Johan Rothman. Simon Shaw. David Thomas. Casey Visses. Kate Weinberg. Also graduating with a Bachelor of Arts, Abigail Wyatt. Will the Bachelors of Arts with Honours please come forward? Jemima Agnew. Rebecca Bowling. Jacob Butson. Isabel Cassidy Rouse. Madison Crutch. Mara Davis. Rachel Evans. Femke Jager. Brodie Joyce. Sophia Califatalis. Tejas Kalidas. Lindy Lowe. Ileana Lister. Francis McClelland. Dominique Orange. Joseph Potter. Kendra Scott. Ellen Stewart. Bethan Streetfield. Brianna Worthington. Will the Bachelors of Arts with Honours, also graduating with a Bachelor of Arts, please come forward? Isaac Bennett-Smith. Charlotte Dobby. Rose Fenton. Hayley Goldthorpe. Nicolas Guerrero. Hannah Jenkin. Morgan Watkins. Sally Yeomans. Will the Bachelors of Music with Honours please come forward? Also graduating with a Bachelor of Music, Vincent Jozowski. Also graduating with a Bachelor of Music, Ella Dunbar-Wilcox. Alex Hoare. Phoebe Johnson. Kai-Yi Lee. Sam McKenzie. Chancellor.
Our first musical interlude this afternoon is an instrumental piece composed by Harold Arlen. That Old Black Magic will be performed by the New Zealand School of Music Jazz Trio with the just graduated Ella Dunbar-Wilcox on piano and vocals, the just graduated Phoebe Johnson on bass and Lennox Grotchin on drums. Thank you to the wonderful Ella, Phoebe and Lennox. The Pro-Chancellor, Dr. Diane McCarthy, will now congratulate further graduates from the Wellington Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Te Wāhanga Aranui. Pro-Vice-Chancellor, Humanities and Social Sciences and Education, Professor Jennifer Windsor, will announce each graduate. The Associate Dean of Students, Dr. Diana Burton, will present their certificates.
Pro-Chancellor, Will the Bachelors of Arts please come forward? Leila Abadar. Brianna Abbott. Eilish Akavi. Zainab Al-Nasi. Narjis Al-Zaidi. Yelena Allen. Rowan Anderson. Aroha Armstrong. Emily Ashill. Sean Ashton Peach. Harrison Atkins. Sophie Okram. Catherine Baird. McLeonardo Emerita Bahe. Mackenzie Baker Flynn. Tanjeet Banwait. Abby Barclay. Lauren Barnfather. Emmy May Barry. Charlotte Bazil. Joshua Begley. Liam Bennett. Molly Benson. Also graduating with a Bachelor of Commerce, Mikaira Berryman-Camp. Ryan Bird. Tyler Bishop. Jessica Boniface. Sarah Boniface. Lachlan Borthwick. Isabella Bostock. Emma Rose Buerter. Laura Bradley. George Brathwaite. Marco Braun Beaumont. Catherine Janet Michaela Broadley. Callum Brooker. Grace Brown. Margaret Brown. Tian Mawari Brown. Harper Burtonshaw. Zoe Butler. Vanessa Cam. Hayley Cameron. Fergus Campbell. Annie Cartwright. Julia Caulfield. Emma Charlton. Also graduating with a Graduate Diploma of Arts, Joshua Cheeseman. Jiajing Chen. Zachariah Chinner. Madeline Christians. Azel Cinco. Lara Coddington. Leilani Colnut. Jack Corcoran. Lillian Craig. Jamie Cranshaw. Joseph Crosscurry. Georgina Divish. Bianca Daniel. Cassandra Darwin. Abby Davenport. Hayden Davenport Brown. Lewis Davidson. Also graduating with a Bachelor of Commerce, Hannah Davies. Samuel Day. Leanne De Beer. Sophie De Beaver. Catherine De Boer. Kerry D. Ines Delgado. Lily Devine. Shannon DeWitt. Ella Diamond. Joseph Dickey. Erin Ruth Diggins. Lachlan Harris Dixon Mackay. Oliver Donaldson. Maggie Donovan. Also graduating with a Bachelor of Commerce, Charlotte Ducey. Alexandra Duff. Anka Dimitru. Phoebe Duncan. Lara Dyer. Enya Engelbrecht. Julian Etchiguin. William Evans. Natasha Fairfield. Angus Falconer. Ursula Featherston. Nicholas Fellows. Georgia Feringa. Pasha John Alec Fernando. Amy Ferreira. Lucy Fitzgerald. Emily Fitzmaurice. Victoria Flanders. Zoe Flay Redaway. Also graduating with a Bachelor of Commerce, Frances Ford. Helena Faluifanga Chanfong. Ruby Gaffney. Ellen Gaging. Finian Galbraith. Amber Gant. Sophie Gilbert Keane. Emily Gilchrist. Also graduating with a graduate certificate in teaching English to speakers of other languages, Jessica Goodwin. Renee Grace. Jarek Gray. Georgia Griggs. Andre Grover. Tom Gullery. Ruby Guernsey. Matthew Hampson. Kate Hannigan. Lily Hannington. Molly Hanson. Jazz Harding. Megan Harris. Cameron Hartley. Jessica Hawthorne. Mia Haysom. Lily Henderson. Meg Henderson. Sarah Henderson. Nico Henneveld. Teddy Hearn. Theodore Hernandez. Josephine Hick. Kate Holth. Mackenzie Hooper. Olivia Houchin. Hope Holton. Kaya Haworth. Samantha Huang. Sophie Humphreys. Henri Ichikawa. Zach Irene. David Jack. Catherine Jack. Emma Jenkins. Lillian Jenkins. Rachel Judd. Harpreet Kaur. Parminder Kaur. Rachel Keane. Bailey Kilgareth. Also graduating with a Bachelor of Commerce, Yvette Kinsford. Eleanor Kirkwood. Andre Kluskens. Vera Sarah Kruger Tagboto. Elizabeth Lang. Meg Lamb. Henry Lavery. Mara Leyland. Madison Lines. Ella Logan. Levi Loudon. Sarah Luca. Zoe Lyle. Also graduating with a Bachelor of Commerce, Sophie MacDonald. Dana McKay. Hayley Mackenzie. Kirsten Mackenzie. Benjamin McLean. Lily McMillan. Emily Malaulau. Joseph Mamea Hind. Charlene Marnie. Antonia Marquese Batista. Elena Marshall. Elena Marshall. Denise Mavungu. Dylan Maynard. Ruby MacDonald Bridge. Sophie McElwain Wilson. Eleanor Phyllis McIlwraith. Caitlin McInerney. Sophie McRae. Cassie Mercer. Heidi Merson. Adele Muley. Isabella Miles. Riona Minchin-McClellan. Yevgenia Moiseva. Jessica Mori. Zara Mortimer. Grace Morton. Mireya Mulla-Payaris. Moira Murdoch. Sabine Darmani Nana. Upuli Emesha Nanayakara. Samantha Newport. Kieran Nolan. Pro-Chancellor.
Please welcome back the New Zealand School of Music Jazz Trio to perform our second musical interlude this afternoon, On the Sunny Side of the Street.
Grab your coat and get your hat. Leave your worries on the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. Can you hear the pitter-pat that comes? And that lucky tune is your step. Life can be so sweet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade, but I'm not afraid, 'cause there's a rover crossing over. If I never had a cent, I'd be rich as Rockefeller, with gold dust in my feet. On the sunny side of the street, grab your coat and get your hat. Leave your worries on the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. Can you hear a pitter-pat that comes? And that happy tune is your step. Life can be so divine on the sunny side of life. I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade, but I'm not afraid, 'cause there's rovers crossing over. If I never had a cent, I'd be rich as Rockefeller, with gold dust at my feet. On the sunny side of the street. used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade. But I'm not afraid, 'cause there's a rovers crossing over. If I never had a cent, I'd be rich as Rockefeller, with gold dust at my feet on the sunny, on the shady, on the sunny side of the street.
Thank you again to the wonderful Ella, Phoebe and Lennox. The Chancellor will now congratulate further graduates from the Wellington Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Te Wahanga Aranui. The Dean of the Faculty, Professor Sarah Leggett, will announce each graduate. The Associate Dean, Teaching and Equity, Dr. Anita Brady, will present their certificates.
Chancellor. Will the Bachelors of Arts please continue to come forward? Molly Fawcett. Hypatia Orchard. Ethan Painter. Sian Palmer. Jasmine Parr. Jessie Peebles. Selina Pavel. Holly Phillips. John Phillips. Elena Pihera. Kimiora Poi. Sydney Poor. Also graduating with a Bachelor of Science, Veronica Pott. Leah Pratt. Annabelle Price. Brianna Price. Samuel Quested. Ella Randall. Louis Rignall. Ruby Reed. Maisie Rewiti Gold. Taylor Hannah Rice. Jack Ritchie. James Robbie. Bryony Roberts. April Rowland. Carl Rudge. Hannah Sadler. Max Salmon. Emily Sands. Hannah Scott. Lachlan Scott. Rowan Ava Selwood Isles. Tegan Seymour. Isaac Shanley. Kate Shapland. Isaac Shaw. Ella Sheeran. Matthew Shipp. Alexander Sinclair. Hannah Sly. Amy Smith. Cameron Smith. Charlotte Smith. Madeline Smith. Laura Somerset. Meg Somerville. Tate Stagpool. Rebecca Steers. Peter Stump. Caitlin Steer. Justin Stretch. Paris Studd. Darcy Stumpf. Monica Sutton. Sean Sutton. Rachel Sweeney. Also graduating with a Bachelor of Commerce, James Swinbank Slack. Adama Tairea. Luise Talivakaola. Mary Mele Tunuvasa Veinga Tutongi. Tanaya Tau Ilili Pelesasa. Hugh Taylor. Emily Thompson. Flora Thompson. Jacob Thompson. Thomas Trask. Natalie Trailing. Karina Tremblay. Hulan Tuman. Hannah Unsworth. Alice Vale. Isabella Van Hoof. Emily Villanueva. Pasha von Beck. Georgina Walker. Thomas Walsh. Madeline Walters. Grayson Wanden Gayford. Charles Ward Johnson. Luke White. Jules Whitworth. Andrew Wilford. Estrid Williams. Cameron Williams. Jamie Williams. Matthew Williams. Rebecca Wilson. Samantha Wilson. Alexandra Winslade. Joshua Wong. Emily Woods. Ella Willett. Phoebe Wrighton-Dawn. Kelly Wyborn. Kendra May Yarrow. Harriet Young. Kirsten Young. Also graduating with a Bachelor of Commerce, Darren Yu. Teresa Zaya. Will the Bachelors of Music please come forward? Isabella Anderson. Matthew Barris. Lachlan Bennett. David Codd. Christian Dougal. Sylvia Herniak. Daniel Hodgetts. Lauren Jack. Michael Lemon. Yening Liu. James McEwen. Samuel McKeever. Jeremy McLean. Also graduating with a Bachelor of Arts, Imogen Moore. Arjuna Oakes. Jean-Elian Kunanan Pagalilawan. Finn Perring. Sarah Rathbun. Morgan Smith. Ainsley Smithers. Benjamin Stewart. Also graduating with a Bachelor of Arts, Mika Thompson. Emma Thompson. Sania Treblemeyer Blackford. Cynthia Rapp. Will the holder of the postgraduate diploma in Museum and Heritage Practice please come forward? Amanda Sykes. Will the holders of the Graduate Diploma in Arts please come forward? Lynn Bullock. Nicola Cuervo Correa Ritter. Sarah Margaret Gilbert. Will the holders of the Graduate Certificate in Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages please come forward? Olivia Barr. Bryony Brown. Also graduating with a Bachelor of Arts, Natawalin Sukbamrun.
I now call on the Chancellor, Neil Pavius-Smith, and the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Grant Guilford, to present the recipient for the Medal for Outstanding Academic Excellence.
Chancellor, a University Medal for Outstanding Academic Excellence may be awarded annually to the highest ranked graduate in each honours degree program. To qualify for the award, a graduate must have been awarded the degree with first-class honours, must have a record of exceptionally high academic achievement across 4 or more years of study, and must be recognised as a top scholar in their degree in the year of the award. The medal recognises outstanding academic performance and is not awarded unless these exceptionally high standards of achievement are obtained. Chancellor, I have great pleasure in presenting Isaac Gabriel Bennett-Smith the award of the Medal for Outstanding Academic Excellence in the Bachelor of Arts with Honours Degree program.
Traditionally, each graduation ceremony features an address by one of our newest graduates who speaks on behalf of their peers. This honour is awarded to someone who, during their time at our university, has exemplified the qualities that we seek to instil in all our graduates. This afternoon's address will be given by Charlotte Ducey, who has graduated with a Bachelor of Arts, majoring in History and International Relations, and a Bachelor of Commerce, majoring in Public Policy. During her studies, Charlotte worked part-time at Parliament, supporting a local MP, where she was able to gain first-hand insights into New Zealand's political system and further pursue her passion for politics. Charlotte is currently working at Te Tari Taiwhenua, the Department of Internal Affairs, as an executive governance advisor, and hopes to one day work for an international non-governmental organisation where she can increase awareness and advocate for gender equality, access to education, and the preservation of historical and cultural taonga. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Charlotte to give the graduate address.
Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā kātou katoa. I would first like to begin with a quick apology. In an ideal world, I would have memorised this speech, but honestly, up until this morning, part of me still believed COVID would cancel the ceremony. So apologies, I will have to refer to my notes. But nevertheless, we are here in person today, having graduated in the midst of a global pandemic. Congratulations, everyone. It is truly an honour to stand with you all today and reflect on our time at Te Herenga Waka, the Victoria University of Wellington. When I first moved to Wellington in February of 2017, Trump had just been sworn in as president, Jacinda Ardern was an anonymous member of parliament, international travel was still an option, and the average Wellington rent was about $180 per week. I anticipated my final year of university to be filled with parties and protests and, well, less time in lockdown holed up in my parents' spare room. Thanks, Mum and Dad. At the risk of sounding incredibly cliché, my God, how the world has changed since then. When I sat down to start writing the speech, I honestly had no clue where to start. How could I even begin to sum up 2020, let alone the other 3 years of my degree, without it sounding like an obituary? So I did what I always end up doing. I called my mum, and she reminded me of the things I loved about my time at Vic, because these were the things I had shared with my family. I was reminded of the amazing fashion and the unapologetic self-expression, the effervescence of Cuba Street with all its bright and beautiful colours, the hum of Lambton Quay on any given day, the ridiculous and frankly terrifying hand sculpture thing that sits menacingly atop the art gallery, and of course the famous Wellington weather. I told them of the lecturers who had inspired me with their incredible knowledge and insight, of all the powerful, unique individuals I had met who inspired me with their candour, of the constant political discourse shared and debated by everyone on campus, of all the protests I had joined, from reproductive rights to climate change to the well-fought Stick with Vic campaign. I thought about the people who had held my hand when things got toughest, those who listened and shared their vulnerabilities and reminded me that I was enough, who commiserated with me over how overpriced and under-insulated my student flat was, the people who ensured I ate a hot meal because they knew I existed purely on Vic Books coffee, and those that have extended their compassion, lent me their bravery, and have turned up today to hear me speak. I know that I am not alone in having met people during my time at university that have become family. The connections we have forged through some of the best and most difficult years of our lives will stay with us. So to my friends who have become my family, I want to take this chance to say thank you. Your kindness, honesty, and vulnerability inspires me every day. I am truly grateful to have you in my life. And to my family, Nani, Papa, Mum, Dad, Sophie and Minnie, my love and appreciation for you grows every day. Even though we may occasionally disagree, you are my constants, my guiding stars. I love you all. And I would also like to take this opportunity to thank my fellow graduates. Some of you I know well. Many of you I have had fleeting interactions over the last 4 years. And well, if I'm entirely honest, a lot of you I have never seen before in my life. And vice versa, I'm sure. However, I am infinitely grateful to each and every one of you for fostering the Victoria University community that I hold so dear. A community that valued acceptance and learning, in which views were shared and challenged, but compassion always extended. From the commiserating smiles shared during exam season, across the lecture theatres or in the Kelburn Library far too late at night, to those who were unapologetically and inspiringly yourselves and made everyone else better for it. University has been a passionate and empowering experience, and for that I thank you all. Passion is a uniting force, one that I truly believe resonates strongly with BA students. We don't necessarily choose this course of study to get a specific role or to start on a very narrow pathway. We study the arts because we love it, and that is apparent to all when we interact with them. If COVID has taught us anything in the past year, beyond the importance of frequently washing our hands, it's the value of human interactions and empathy, which are the pillars of the arts and humanities. As funding for the arts and humanities is increasingly limited in favour of technology and the sciences, it is passion that keeps the arts alive and thriving. Passion from the lecturers, from the tutors, and most importantly, from us, the students. Passion and a stable Wi-Fi connection got us through the distance and disconnection and enabled us to end up here today. University is hard, but it was made that much harder when we were suddenly cut off from our peers. Here, I need to acknowledge the incredible lecturers and tutors who went above and beyond to make this transition as seamless as possible. To the staff who reached out individually to students they had known less than 3 weeks just to check in with them. Those who took a compassionate approach to assignments and deadlines and who went out of their way to make us feel connected in an increasingly unconnected environment. Thank you. By now, I'm sure many of you are ready to get out of this hot auditorium and go celebrate with your loved ones. So to conclude, COVID sucked, but congratulations on getting through it. Thank you to everyone here today for all your continued support. Passion and empathy are so important. Please continue to let them guide you. And if the last few years have taught us anything, take each day as it comes. There's no use planning. We can't predict when the next global disaster or pandemic will occur, but we can take the skills we have amassed and continue to listen and learn and apply them to whatever will come our way. I'm confident that we can handle whatever the world throws at us next. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Thank you, Charlotte, for your fine words and good humour, and I think also for emphasising the importance in a modern context of the arts and humanities. This afternoon has been a celebration of all your achievements and is a formal acknowledgement of your admittance to the community of scholars at this university. Although you may have completed your association with Te Ringawaka Victoria University of Wellington as a student, you are now officially a valued member of the university's alumni community, and we look forward to staying in touch. Some of our most distinguished alumni share our pride in your success, and they have a few words of wisdom they wish to share.
Congratulations to all of you. Graduating is a significant milestone in your life, and it's one you'll always remember. It marks a huge achievement. So please, take some time to celebrate your success with the friends and family that have supported you. He kōrero whakamihi anō, ngā manakitanga pai mo o mahi hei whakamua. Congratulations once again, best wishes for the work ahead.
Graduating is a milestone that you and your family should all enjoy it. Live the day.
A big shout out to all the graduates this year, particularly those graduating in the arts and history and in law, and a special mention to my Pacifica brothers and sisters. Congratulations to you all.
The world awaits. You've got all kinds of fabulous lessons, curiosity, hope and exploration, so get out there and get amongst it.
Now's the time to relax a little for a few weeks, but then you got to finish the job. Remember, you had a dream, that's why you started those studies, and you'll be at some crossroads in the future. Don't back down, be courageous, give that dream a chance and finish the job.
Congratulations on graduating. You may not even see it as that much of an achievement right now, but when you look back later in life on it, you will see that it genuinely is. Well done.
Kia koutou kua uratu, kena koutou, ngā mi kia koutou. Kawe ngā wawata o ngā mātua, haere atu koutou ki te ao. Arahina ia tātou katoa. So, congratulations to all the graduates. Go forward and lead us.
I'd like to congratulate all the new graduates. Keep learning. Never let a learning opportunity go by.
Well, you've done it, and you've done it well. Have a bit of a break and have some fun, strenuous or rowdy or soothing. Walk the heafy, invent a cocktail, or sort out your sock drawer.
Yeah, you're here, you've done it. I don't know what obstacles you and your whānau have overcome to be here, but I do know that this is an amazing achievement that will change your life. Your career is going to be an incredible adventure, so take the opportunities, be fabulous, enjoy the ride, and most importantly, be nice to your parents.
This is a huge accomplishment for you all, and I guess you'll have a pause to restock, but it is a really exciting time of your life heading out into the workforce and looking for new career paths.
Well done, everybody, on entering the ranks of the graduates of Victoria University of Wellington. And well done also on the hard work that you've had to perform over the last few years to get to this point. Now it's time to go out and get a job.
Before I bring things to a conclusion, I'd like to ask you to join me in thanking three groups of people without whom this ceremony would not be the special occasion it has been. Firstly, will you join me in thanking our Kapa Haka group? We also have been entertained by some highly talented musicians today who have had the added pressure of performing in front of their School of Music peers and the academic staff from the faculty and their friends and family, as well as walking across the stage. So will you join me in thanking, for adding the vibrancy and colour to this occasion, our wonderful musicians, particularly Phoebe, Ella and Samuel, who all graduated today. Well done. And these ceremonies would be, let's face it, a bit of a shambles unless we had some wonderful staff and volunteers who could marshal everybody and ensure that our graduates can all come across the stage so well organised and well presented, and ensure that this is a particularly fitting occasion to acknowledge and celebrate with everyone. Can you please join me in thanking the staff and volunteers who do such a great job? We end each graduation ceremony with the singing of Gaudeamus. Gaudeamus, or So Let Us Rejoice, is a traditional student song based on a medieval Latin manuscript. It is sung at university graduation ceremonies around the world to celebrate academic success. Samuel McKeever will return to lead the singing, accompanied by Ben Kennedy. The words appear on page 84 of your program and on the screens. Can I please ask you to stand and welcome back Samuel and Ben? Thank you.
Gaudeamus iti cor, iovene
Please remain standing. Friends and whānau here today, to honour the achievement of our graduates, please remain standing while both the official procession and the procession of graduates leaves the auditorium.